Bullying comes in many forms, from the violent to harassment. Harassment alone can include verbal bullying, cyberbullying, text bullying, and then some. And bullying may occur as part of a workplace, school, online, or any other social environment. A bully is simply anyone who is overbearing and cruel. And while bullying can affect any of us, often its most morbid victims are youth. The result can be tragic. Suicide related to bullying has become so prominent in countries like the United States, Canada, and Russia that the term bully-cide has gained popular use in the media. But we know that bullying is not new. It is not a fad. It will not simply disappear. In fact, the progression of the technological age seems to have only advanced the ease and publicity of these incidents. Through social media, bullying reaches a public platform, both increasing awareness of the problem as well as displaying some of humanity's dark side and selective blindness. For example, even in schools that pridefully champion a zero-tolerance mantra can ignore the obvious signs. The badgering in the classroom and on the playground, the ostracizing in the halls, the occasional incitement of violent language or action. Too often, these bullied victims are spoken to as if they are responsible for their own problem and alone responsible for rectifying it. Block them, delete them, ignore them, take the long way. Did you try to make friends with them? Oftentimes, it is suggested that victims out to change something about themselves to make them more acceptable, less of a target for potential bullies. It is clear we have been going about this the wrong way. But let us ask the question, why do we protect bullies? While aggression can be an advantageous quality, our care of bullying issues almost punishes people for not being aggressive as or more so than their bully. Just this year in the UK, 11-year-old Asad was found by his mother hanging in his bedroom after only the first 3 weeks in a new school. He passed away shortly after. Elsewhere, a mother lost her 17-year-old son, also bullied to the point of suicide. Over a period of 7 years, Felix Alexander had his sense of self, his sense of purpose and worth, and his sense of attention, and his sense of an attainable happiness worn down by his fellow classmates. For far too many, bullying reduces people to a mere shell of themselves, repeatedly attempting to face each day as we all do, and repeatedly denied the kindness and respect needed to do so. How can we expect anyone to maintain their internal strength if every day their environment's damaging and threatening them? After the tragic passing, this 17-year-old's grieving mother had one request. We have a collective responsibility to prevent other young lives being lost to unkindness and bullying. Please be kind always, for you never know what it is in someone's heart or mind. You see, there's no such thing as too kind. However, bullies and those that allow their behavior permissible are far too mean. We need to become intolerant about the tolerance for bullying. We need to teach our children, teens, parents, and friends that there is beauty in respecting one another. Inappropriate humor capable of bullying a child to suicide was never really funny in the first place. To put it frankly, we're losing the lives of loved ones because we permit the continuation of a culture that finds the systematic destruction of another person's sense of self-esteem to be entertaining. A culture that accepts us acting outside of love. Do you want to end bullying? As a collective, let's turn zero tolerance into inexcusable. Let us raise our children differently, joke with our peers and co-workers differently, and treat each other with respect always. Let us stop turning a blind eye or expecting victims to help themselves. Let us always remember kindness. Thank you so much, Thelma, for being on this show. I had a little bit of time to talk to you about what you do, and I think it's so important that today we're going to be talking about empowering children and the sort of issues that children face. I think that recently in the news there's this whole concept of bullying that's come about, you know, and it's cyberbullying, just, you know, bullying in schools, and it's very heartbreaking to see how many children are committing suicide because of it, you know. And I think some of the reasons why they're doing it is maybe they don't have an outlet to speak, you know, and that's a little bit about what we were talking about. So I'm so glad you're here, because I believe like that children are the future leaders, so you have to be so careful, and you have to be so you know, you have to make sure that you do concentrate on that population of people, because they're going to be the future of our country. So thank you so much for being here, and you know, I'd like for you to tell us a little bit about why you got into Sisema Tanzania, and what is it that you guys do?
Okay, I think I'll begin with what Sisema does. Okay. Sisema is a local NGO or local institution that's work to protect the rights of children in Tanzania. Majorly, we run the National Child Helpline, that is a toll-free 116 that anybody can call from any network, name it, those that are available in Tanzania, and they can report or tell us about any abuse that a child is going through. Yeah. Or not only about the abuse, but also we provide parenting skills. We educate parents on how to take care of child, because you cannot talk about child protection without talking about parenting issues, and it always begins with parents. And if you read the reports that the UNICEF provided in 2009, the research is saying that major of the abuses begin from home, from the family level, from the people that are closer to a child. So there's no other way we are going to overlook this and try to communicate, to concentrate on the community and leaving the parent that the child is coming from. So we provide parenting skills. We talk to parents, we educate them. We tell them on the right way of talking to a child, the appropriate way of communicating to a child, what can a parent do. So basing on that, or revolving on the helpline, we do have other program, but all of them are channeling at child protection. That's what Sisema does. Okay. Yeah.
And you said something very interesting about Sisema. Like, what is it? What does it stand for?
C. We have 3 C. That is civil change brought by children. Then Sema, the word Sema, speak. Sema is a Swahili word which means speak. Yeah, and we came with Sema because we want to empower children to talk, to speak out, to tell us what they're going through, to tell us if they're happy, to tell us if they're sad, anything that they can tell us. Just because the nature of Tanzania back then, at least now, it's changing, but still it's a dominant practice that has been there, that a child is not allowed to talk, a child is not allowed to speak out. You're not allowed to speak when you're with adults, you're not allowed. It's just a way of to suppress a child. So we want to make sure that a Tanzanian child has been empowered to talk, to say everything that they're going through. Because if you're going through abuse and nobody is there to listen and nobody is there for you, a shoulder to cry on, definitely you won't be a whole person. Yeah. So Sisema want to empower children. We want to see children who are free to express themselves as children.
That's great, and I'd like to know a little bit about you. So why did you decide to go into this line of work?
I didn't decide to go into that line of work, but it's just within me. Okay. I have a passion with children. Okay. It's more than love. I don't know how I can explain it, but usually you can even see when I came, I pointed her first. Like, she's beautiful. I love children. I don't have a child of my own, but I love children. So when I was graduating, I was like, I want to work in an organization that deal with children. And getting employment was a bit difficult. And then when I got the opportunity to volunteer with Sisema at that moment when I just graduated, I was like, so what do you do? And they told me that they're working to protect the Tanzanian child. I was like, this is the right place for me to be. And I joined them as a volunteer back then. Now I'm working as an employee. Thank God that they gave me that opportunity. Okay. Yeah, but it's a passion that I have. children always have a magnet to pull me toward them. I love children. And for me to see a child giggling, smiling, it's a pleasure. It's a joy.
And I can see that when I was talking to you, I can see how passionate you are about it. And I always believe that when you're passionate about something, that you will always do the best work.
The best part of it. Yeah, it's true. Because you know somebody's not forcing you to do it. You're just doing it. The whole you is feeling happy, whether you are paid, whether you're not benefiting from it. But as long as you're doing something that is making you happy, happiness matters. The joy of the heart matters than any other thing. And I'm happy every time that I pick a call and this child is telling me about, I don't know, they tell me
random
things. And it's always exciting. Actually, my colleagues always laughing at me, and I found myself that sometimes I'm too emotional even, like, wow, listen to this kid, and it's always making me happy. It sometimes clear away all my frustration. When I hear a child calling and then they're playing on the helpline, it's fun, it makes me smile, it puts a smile on my face. So it's something that I'm having fun doing, yeah.
That's amazing, and I'm a true believer in that, and I think that's why I started this show, because you know, and that's why I continue doing it, because I'm so passionate about, you know, just helping other women and raising awareness. And like, you know, even like you said, if you don't get paid for it, it's fine. Because it is, at the end of the day, it's the joy that comes from it,
the joy that's
right?
come. Yeah, it's true.
That's amazing. Yeah. So just a little bit about your helpline. You know, I think it's amazing that you guys have a helpline. And can you tell us like how many children sort of call a day? And what are some of the issues that they talk about?
Because we don't limit them. We don't have a limit for a child. We can tolerate a child who calls 10, 15 times a day, but not an adult who calls 10, 15 times a day. Yeah, we won't blast that child. But yeah, we do have calls from children, but also we do have calls from adults, because anybody can call and report. An adult can call and report on behalf of a child. They have witnessed something going on which is not appropriate in their neighborhood, they can call. An adult can call to seek advice on how to handle certain issues in their family. So we can have like per day, something like 40 calls per day, yeah. Wow. Yeah, because we don't work 24 hours. We work from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. But eventually we'll go. Yeah, but among all those 40, it depends with the season. When children are not in school, their calls more increasing. But however, we haven't done much awareness on the community so that children can be called, yes. But we do receive the calls from children. Maybe in 40, we can have like 15 from children, 15 calls from children. That's
and so they'll report issues like maybe violence that they faced or you know.
Yeah, some of them are very bold enough to report the violence that they're going through, but some of them just want somebody to talk to. Some of them just feel good to know that there's somebody who can listen, who's there. So they will ask you sort of so many questions. Some say a kid can call even tell you about their homework. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that we do receive from the helpline. There's a lot of information, a lot of it, yeah. If you just leave aside the abuse part, but there's a lot of information. So children can call. Some of them do report about their friends going through ABC, what can we do? And you know, children are also tricky. A child can call like pretending to report about a friend, yet they're the one going through that. So it will take a counselor time to realize that this is the same child going through this, and then trying to help them, provide counseling online or refer them to our service provider who are social welfare officers.
And I wanted to ask you a little bit about, you know, you said that you counsel parents as well.
Yeah.
So what sort of counseling do you do with parents, and what is some advice that you have for viewers, you know, who are parents of children, maybe to sort of things that they should spot? Because I think that sometimes parents are so engrossed in this mundane life that, like, you know, this sort of the everyday routine, that they can't spot certain things. And I'll give you such an interesting statistic. About 100, and I did a lot of research on, you know, just media and children. And nowadays, children are spending about 180 minutes bombarded with media and only 10 minutes with time with their parents. So what can parents do to sort of, what are some of the things that you advise parents to like look into, and maybe some of the things that if they're suspecting they should point out? And
we do talk about a lot of things, because a parent can call having a specific issue they want you to help them about, but we also write some articles on the newspaper, that's a local newspapers, and we have different topics based on what we gather from the helpline, the question that parents are asking from the helpline, or what our counselors or anybody who work with us is experiencing around the community, what is going on. But mostly we focus on the parent's need, like that person or what exactly that parent wants at that particular. But however, we do insist on communication, because that is something that there is a big gap between parents and a child communication, because a parent who's not communicating with the child is not protecting the child. One of the articles that we wrote was like, it was going with the heading, if you communicate to your child, you're protecting your child. So communication is something that has a big problem in our community. So we start from there before we talk any other thing, before we tell a parent not to spank a child, before we tell a parent to listen, before we tell a parent any other thing, we tell a parent, make sure that you are communicating with your child. You have talked about many children spending time on the internet and everything, and the same thing happened with the parents. There is this joke that kids were arguing, and one child was like, you keep on calling mom, 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 and mom was not listening. Mom, 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 mom was not paying attention. And the brother told him, no, you know what, just text her on WhatsApp. And the boy took a phone and texted the mother on WhatsApp, and immediately the mother responded. So you can just see how the technology have captured away, have taken away the role of parents. The parenting skills has gone to the technology, and children are just left there because they're eating, they're dressing, they're going to school, that is it. But there is more that a child needs from that. There is a psychological point of view, there is a communication, there is love, there is affection that a child needs from a parent, rather than just being fed, being dressed, and the school fees are paid, and you're sleeping in a nice bed. It's more than that. So before we go too deep into other things, we tell a parent, do you communicate with your child? How often do you talk with your son? How often do you talk to your daughter? Do you know what happened to their schools? Do you know what they're going through during their day? Do you tell a child how your day was? Something like that, just to make that they build a certain kind of the relationship.
And when I think that this goes back to a lot of bullying and the fact that kids end up, can't take the stress because maybe they don't have an outlet, or maybe their parents sort of, I don't think knowingly. I think parents love their children so much. I don't think that they knowingly do it. I think sometimes you get so sort of carried away with your routine in your life. And parents also get overwhelmed because it's tough being a parent, right? Not like, I know my mom always tells me it's a tough job, so it's tough being a parent. But basically, I think that communication is so important. Like, even if you take out an hour a day and you just sit with your kids with no telephone, no TV, no nothing, and you just talk to them, like you said, about your day, about what's going on, they'll feel that they have someone to confide in, if anything is going wrong. And that takes me to bullying and how it's become such a huge issue now, bullying, because a lot of schools, especially like in the West, they have this like no bullying policy in school. Yet you will see a lot of kids who are like, they're in the hallway and like they're getting bullied very like outright, but the people just turn away, and they're like, oh, like parents, like, don't worry, you just be friends with them, or just don't pay attention to them, or you'll phase out of it. But it doesn't happen.
It's just a stage. I really don't understand when people are trying to talk about bullying and they're forgetting. I'm always going to parenting, because a child who is bullying others, or a child who's being bullied, they're both children and they need help. And most of the time, we focus on the victims and we forget about the children who are being bullied, the bully themselves, who are bullying the others. We forget that for you to be a bully, to bully other children, there is something that is missing.
I agree.
There is something that is missing, and it starts back from parenting.
Yeah.
Teachers always, in Tanzania actually, teachers do bully children too. It's not like only parents or only children do bully other children, but teachers also do bully children. But the whole scenario, all revolving around parenting. If a parent is doing what they're supposed to do, I know that I have a busy schedule, but do I even have 15 minutes of asking my child, how are they?
Yeah.
Do I have that minute to know who angered my kid, who slapped you, what made you happy today at school? How was your day? Tell me, do you have anything to share with me? You will definitely know. You come back home, you're too tired. A child wants to talk to you. I'm too tired now. You push a child away. This child goes to sleep with something disturbing them in their head. They're too stressed with something. They go to bed. Maybe mom and dad are fighting, they're arguing and everything. And this child has nowhere to pour all this frustration out. This child gets too stressed up. This child gets maybe frustrated. This child gets depressed. At the end of the day, I will have to find a weaker vessel for me to pour all my frustration. And I will find a weaker one. And I will hit this child and I will feel good. This child won't have any empathy, because even at home, nobody has that empathy with this child. So it begins with the parent. If a parent stands in their busy schedule, they're working years to provide for the children, but they come and they try to listen, to talk to a child, to make sure that mom and dad, we don't argue before our children. We have our misunderstanding as adults, but we take it aside in the bedroom. And then when we come, we smile with children to make sure that they grow to be happy. They feel affection, they feel love, they feel that they're protected. There's somebody there to listen. This child won't be a bully. This child will have a place to talk to. They will tell their parents what they're going through. And eventually they will behave in school. But if this child doesn't have a forum, as nobody to tell them what they're going through, nobody to tell them that they're good, they're what, and everything, they will definitely find somebody to and that is the weaker vessel at a school. That child who's weak, that child who's looking always maybe chubby, the child who's looking more thinner will be a punch bag for them. Yeah, so it goes with the parents.
Yeah. And I think that there's two important, amazing points you made. Number one, I think that the upside of your parents spending time and communicating with you is the fact that it also helps the kids' confidence, right?
Yeah, it's true.
And they learn to love themselves because they know that they are loved at home. And I think that there's so much positive that can come out of that,
Very.
you know? And I think that they're also more likely to be successful because, you know they don't have insecurities. They're not the type of people to sort of get into peer pressure, you know.
It's true.
So they stand on their own and they stand for whatever they believe in, you know. And I think number two, you had made a point earlier about violence against children and how scary it is that most violence happens with people that are around the child.
Yeah, the family.
Yeah. Now, I think that that's so important because parents imagine that how much of a blind eye they must be turning that they can't even see that it's happening like in their homes or around them, you know. And so, in this day and age, it's so significant for parents to sort of spend valuable time with their children, you know.
It's true. Yeah, and most of them are just giving a blind eye on it. And in the experience that in a Tanzania context, that they try to protect their own. It's an uncle who was raped a kid. It's an uncle, auntie who was physically abused a child. But what will happen? So they try to protect their own, and then forgetting that when they're protecting this auntie or this uncle, the child is there. The child is the one facing the consequences. Psychologically, this child is affected. This child won't grow up to be that fully adult that we want to grow. This child will live with a stress. This child will live with a mark. And mind you that pedophile or anybody who has been abusing a child, they don't stop. They don't stop. They will continue. They will continue. They have abused this child in the family. The next minute, they will abuse another child in the family. And then they will cross the border, and then they will abuse another person, another neighbor's child. So what are we doing? So it's something that we need to rise up and talk about it, and then make people that are to be aware that anything that happened to a child, the first responsibility of the family is to protect the child and not the adult that has misbehaved.
And people forget that because of all this, a lot of mental health issues can take place with the child later on.
It's true.
You know, and again, going back to the point that the children are going to be the leaders for our country and our community, and they're the future of tomorrow. So you have to take care of them, you know.
Yeah, it's true. That is so true.
So just a little bit more about your organization, and you know, what are some of the things that you guys have done, you know, to protect children and to sort of raise awareness about these issues?
The major activity that we're always doing, as I told, that we focus on children. We have two major programs that are outreach. If you leave the helpline, the 116, we have happy and sad opinion letters. Unfortunately, they're only in just few schools in that Intermeke district.
Yeah.
There are boxes that are placed in a government school where children write to us. If they cannot access the 116 number, they write to us and tell us whatever thing that they're going through, whether what is making them happy in school, what is making them sad, not just a child, but also to report about other children.
Right.
This one has proved successful because we have seen teachers' behavior changing. There is this thing, I told you earlier that teachers are always bullying children. There are these things of name calling. It's a continuously thing. A teacher will have calling these children bad names, not knowing that psychologically they're affecting them. They're belittling them. They're lowering their self-esteem, such kind of things. With happy and sad boxes, children have reported frequently about teacher calling them names, teacher being insulting them, teacher sending them to get stuff during classes. And in schools that those boxes are there, children have witnesses that teachers have stopped calling them names. The abusive language has stopped. So we call that as a successful thing.
Yeah,
the happy and sad boxes have done amazing things because children talked about it. Because when we are opening them, we always have like a committee. We have the head teacher, we have the child representative, we have the social welfare officer, the community development officer, and ward education officer. So all of them come together and we open the box together, and then we read what children have written in their letters, and then we ask them, okay, now tell us, your teachers have been reported like they're insulting children, they're calling them bad names. And you know, when a teacher has called a child a bad name, eventually the other student will also use the same name, and this child become a victim. You know, it will be a bully. Everybody will just use that name to call you, and it's make a child's self-esteem go low. The child will feel bad, and given that this child cannot talk to anybody back at home, so this child will be coming to school feeling so bad about the name that the teacher is always using, and eventually some of them have dropped out of school. But now with the happy and sad box, they told us that teachers have stopped calling them bad names. They have realized that it's a bullying. It's one way of them bullying the children, and then they have stopped. So that, for me, that was amazing thing, because if the teacher has stopped and they're behaving, they're not insulting them again, it's a successful thing.
Yeah.
However,
I think that parents should sort of also do this exercise, you know, at home. It's a good idea to have, maybe at the end of the day, their kids talk to them and tell them one thing that's made them happy and one thing that's made them upset during the day, and actually talk about it, you know. And you know, it's so interesting how everything is so linked, because you know, I've done so many different shows on the effects of social media. I've done a show on mental health. I've done a show on violence against women and girls, you know, and you see how everything is so interrelated.
That's so intertwined.
Yeah, you know, and like, you know, for example, with even social media, like, it's amazing that why are so many young girls you know, so going into social media so much, or spending so much time, because they don't feel loved and they need approval from other people, you know, to sort of feel good about themselves. And crazy. You know,
Yeah.
it's really like, and I think, you know, I think I'm so glad you came on the show, because you pointed the issue is it starts with the parents.
Yeah.
That at the end of the day, the parents need to make change, you know, and sort of give their kids the confidence, give their kids the sort of outlet to speak to them
Yeah.
and to communicate with them. And also, you know, just to, you know, I think that the more that they spend time with their kids and they tell them, you know, continuously tell them that you're beautiful and,
Yeah.
you know, you are smart and you're confident, they will not need to turn to these things to feel
Yeah,
certain
it's
emotions,
true.
right?
Yeah, talking about that, I can give you an example of a girl who called at the helpline. I don't know the girl, I've
Right,
never
right.
got the opportunity to meet her, but she could call more often. And when she called, she was a little bit hesitant as usual, thinking that I will maybe judge her the way the friend does. She has been going through bullying, and they have kind of isolated her, the peer group. And you know, at the adolescence time, peer group matters the
Of
mostly.
course.
That's where you feel
Yeah.
like that's your world. Peer group matters. So she called and she was complaining that her friends have been neglecting her. She's feeling bad about herself because of how she grew to be. She happened to have big breasts, more than her peers. You know, when you're growing up, you don't know what kind of you, because hormones changes and suddenly you have big hips, you have, you know. So for her, it was her breasts. They changed and eventually they grew more bigger than her peer group. So they were bullying her. Every time they want to make comments, the comment will be on her. Every time they want to give example, the example will be on her. And she started feeling bad about herself. She started feeling that she's incomplete. She started feeling that she's not beautiful. She started isolating herself. And if that persists, maybe this girl could have committed suicide.
Yeah.
And God is good that she had about 116, and then she called. And good thing that I was the one online. I pick her call. I talked to her. I told her, tell me, what is happening? The first thing she told me, how old are you? Then I'm like, I'm old enough to help you. You just tell me what's your problem. And she started narrating, and I could feel her feelings. I could tell what she's going through.
Yeah.
There is no aunt, there is no mom, there is no a sister who could listen. There's nobody who could understand the frustration that she's going through. Her peer, who are now like the people she would count on, she would mingle with, share experience, are now neglecting her, isolating her, calling her names just because she has grew up differently from them. The body structure is different, you know. So she got in the process of being frustrated. And when I was talking to her, counseling her, because we kept on having sessions, we could talk for some time and then she could hang and then call back again and then she could ask for me and then we could talk. But I was thinking, if this child didn't reach the 116 and get into social media or get into internet and find this man, she's young, she was only 15, get with this man, and this man started telling this young girl how beautiful she is, start praising her the way she is and everything, this child would eventually send her nude photos, if she could, to this man. And that what is happening,
Yeah.
you know,
I agree.
you know, and then maybe this man could reach further, maybe try to meet her, and maybe abuse her in one way or another. Who knows what would have happened? And if you think deep inside it, it's because there was nobody, there's no that parent relationship. The child come back home, is sad, and you'll not even take a second time to ask the child, why the long face? Why are you not happy? So it's as you have said it, that the young girls are going into the internet and the technology. It's like they're treating the social media as the place of comfort.
I
They
agree
want to
with
hear
you.
what people are saying. You're
About them.
beautiful, you know,
Yeah.
you look hot and everything. But because my mother has not told me that I'm beautiful.
And also, I think one thing that's worked very well for me, and I really do appreciate this about my dad, is that when we were young, I didn't have time Like my dad sort of was very strict that, you know, they say like an idle mind is a devil's playground. And that happens especially when you're a teenager.
Yeah, it's true.
My dad, I remember, was so strict with our schedule. He would make us play sports. I was a golfer, so I was playing golf 4 or 5 hours a day, every day. I had school. During the weekends, like I had golf tournaments. I went to the madrasa, the religious school, you know, and I honestly believe that with hindsight, all the confidence I have, the mental toughness, it all came from sports. And that's why I advocate like sports for girls, because I think that especially for girls it is so important to get involved in this physical activity, because number one, it's so good, it's a good outlet for stress. It you know, it boosts your confidence so much. It makes you such a mentally tough person. It makes you disciplined, you know, and I truly believe that if parents can do one thing, is that they should really sort of push their kids into positive outlets, rather than, you know, be like, okay, you know, just to keep you quiet, here, just take an iPad. And this is what's happening. Slowly, I think that, you know, as teenagers are getting more, they know that, hey, this is the trend, they start nagging their parents and like, hey, we want this, we want this, we want this. And I agree, like, look, there's also a good side to social media. I think that kids are much smarter because you're so with it.
Very smart.
You know? They know what's going on in the world, you know, like they're very intelligent. But I think that you should supervise how much time they spend on bombarded with media, how much time that they spend, you know, sort of, you know, posting photos and posting, you know, random things, and instead actually, you know, go, like, one of the feedback that like I had was, you know, that I was reading up about, was go outside and spend time with your kids outside. Like, I think nowadays it doesn't happen. Like, go outside, go to a park, go ride bicycles together, go running together, just so that you are outside and spending time, quality time with your kids, you know. So I think that everything is so interrelated, and I think that at the end of the day, it's you know, when it comes to children, it's the parents' responsibility to, you know, to sort of give their children that confidence and that sort of, you know.
And you cannot do that if you're not a friend of your child. You cannot do that if you have no relationship at all. You will not know the images they're sending if you're not their friend. Usually you from the blue moon, I'm just chatting with my phone, and then you come and then you want to see what I'm doing. No way, I won't let you. But if you're my friend, I'll show you. Mom, come and see. Dad, there is ABC.
And you know, people, I think a lot of people are like, hey, you shouldn't be friends with your kids, you should create this barrier. And yeah, I agree that at the end of the day, you are a parent, and the child is a child, and you have to make that very clear. But at the same time, like, in terms of, you know, making sure that, you know, that your child goes to school and does the sort of
the routine work,
right?
The
but
homework,
at the same time, you're right. I don't think that a child who's afraid of their parent, or who's, you know, at that teenage years, you know, who's you know, on their phone, will be like, hey, mom, come see what I'm doing, or who I'm talking to.
They want. They'll be their peer thing, and eventually something will happen. They will be bullied on the cyber, they will do sort of other things, but you will never know. But if you're a friend, parenting, I'm just going back for the parent. If you're a friend with your child, you will know everything that they're doing. Actually, you will be like part of them. They'll feel good to share them with you. Mom, come and see this. Dad, have you know, they want even to teach you. Actually, I was reading something on the news about Obama and the daughter. The daughter was teaching Obama or something on, and that's how a parent is supposed to be. When you're part of them, they will even make you part of their life, part of their leisure time. You will know every single thing that is going on into their life. But if you're not their friend, you will not have that opportunity. You won't. And you come to realize when it's too late that your child has gone through a hell sort of thing that you will even ask yourself, where was I? But you are all there all the time. It's just that you didn't want to mingle. You didn't want to call the child and make them your friend, to share your quality time with them.
I think that's such a good point to end today's discussion on. And I have to say that I'm so glad that you brought up all these issues, because I think that they're extremely important, and I think that you hit the nail on the head when you talked about parenting, and a lot of these issues can not be avoided, but maybe things can be easier for children if the parents are there in their lives.
It's true.
So thank you so much, Thelma. I learned
Thank you
so much,
for
and
hosting me.
and honestly, I wish you all the best with everything you're doing.
Yeah.
I think you're doing such an amazing job helping young kids.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad with what you're doing too. It's an amazing thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.